They're at home Wednesday night against New Orleans. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
You like your style, though?
At KBLA Talk 1580, we are unapologetic about amplifying the voices of those who have historically been left out of the conversation. As we approach our third anniversary this summer, the problem with talk radio in Southern California specifically, and America more broadly, is virtually unchanged. All day, all night, all white. We make no apologies for our prime audience, but true to the best of our tradition, we're committed to expanding justice and freedom for all. So when we receive messages from listeners like Neil, we just smile.
I realize that I'm not your target demographic, but I love listening to your station as it is the only progressive station on the dial.
That's us. Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Heaven help the child who never had a home. Heaven help the girl who walks the streets alone. Heaven help the roses if the bombs begin to fall. Heaven help us all. Heaven help the black man if he struggles one more day. Heaven help the white man if he turns back away. Heaven help the man who kicks the man who has to crawl. Heaven help us all.
KBLA Talk 1580, Real Talk. All right, we're pivoting to our election, which is right now. Many people already have their mail-in ballots in their mailboxes. And one of the areas we are committed to helping you understand is your options for judge. To that end, we have joining us a woman who's running for LA County Superior Court in seat number 9. She says she's been fighting for justice for 30 years. She started her law career in the appellate division of the LA County District Attorney's Office. She founded a nonprofit to help people with substance abuse problems recover. And she was, in 2009, recognized as Woman of the Year for her work in the community. She recently founded the South Los Angeles Justice Center to help folks with pro bono or sliding scale legal assistance. Ronda Dixon, welcome.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you?
I'm blessed. How are you doing?
Very good. And, you know, we go back a long way, if you recall, from the time of the rap symposium, remember?
Yeah, that is quite a long time back.
Very long time. I am running for seat 39, just as a point of correction there. I think you said seat 9, but it's seat 39.
Oh, well, I must have swallowed the 3 because I definitely read 39 off the page. So, seat 39. So this is, running for judge is hard. I know a number of people who have done it. Why take on this project?
You know, I'm known for doing things that are hard. Setting up Dixon Recovery Institute was very difficult, and it was actually right down the street from your studio. I rose from being like the $50,000 budget to about $1.5 million in 7 years. I served 657 people. When they shut down the clinics, they shut down a lot of clinics in our area. Most of the people that were providers that were Black were shut down and have never been able to recover. This has also impacted the safety net. So I wanted to pay it forward, and that's when I started practicing criminal law. Yeah. Do you have a question?
No, I was just, you say that you're committed to fairness and justice. Of course, that's what we want in a judge, is somebody that's fair. So, but everybody, I would imagine, everyone thinks they're fair. What makes you feel that you have this I mean, it's front and center on your page that you have this special aptitude for fairness.
Well, being part of the community that is most impacted by the justice system when it comes to criminal justice, actually even social and economic justice are impacted. Most people don't realize that the judges that are elected are mostly, by and large, prosecutors that have never practiced on the civil bench, the family law bench, the probate bench, the landlord-tenant or small claims. But in the criminal courts, approximately 80% of the prisoners that go to state prison are coming back to Los Angeles County, where 40% of the population of the state resides in Los Angeles County. It's a huge disparity because of those 80%, a large percentage of them are African-American males, or I could just say black males because I'm not sure if that's a correct name, but they're black males from the age of 18 to 26, serving long sentences. And the way they do it is they stack them and make them consecutive instead of concurrent. And it's I'm hard-pressed to see why somebody should do 25 years to life when nobody got hurt, nobody got killed, nobody got raped or molested. Literally, if you get an attempted murder charge or there are certain charges that you can get a 25 to life sentence.
What do you who is supporting you? What organizations, what endorsements do you have so far?
So far, I don't really have any endorsements. Most of the ex-offender networks, of course, are on my side, but I didn't seek out. I'm still seeking out endorsements. The endorsements are something that they come by. Basically, I'll just be honest with you. I'm not your usual candidate. I'm very passionate about what I'm doing, and I feel like we need more people like me on the bench instead of people that have the same perspective and are dealing only with the criminal aspects of the law.
Okay, so when you say people like you, I assume you're talking about people who have been defense lawyers or who have been, public defenders. We're seeing more folks running this time and last election cycle than we've seen in the past, with some success. What else do you mean when you say people like me on the bench?
People that have lived experience. I've experienced trauma. I've grown up in the community. One of the reasons I set up the Dixon Recovery Institute was because in the third grade, I found 2 dead bodies overdosed on heroin in my community in the alley behind my grandfather's house on 51st and McKinley. So I see a problem and I try to fix it, and I'm not afraid to roll up my sleeves and get in the community and do that. As you know, I was an entertainment lawyer for a long time, and it was really funny because the A&R people it's very hard to get them on the phone. They would call me and say, "Hey, who do you have, Rhonda?" And I said, "Wait a minute, you're calling me?" They said, "Yeah, because we know you're going to go to Compton. You're going to go down there and look for those artists that we're not going down there."
Yeah.
So yeah, they knew I would go to South Central Los Angeles, Compton, wherever it is, and I'm not uncomfortable there, and I understand the issues and the problems that are going on in our community. I can also go to Pasadena, where I also grew up, and West Covina, and anywhere in this county. So I can basically, I kind of understand the issues that are dealing with regular people. A lot of people are afraid to go to court, and that shouldn't happen. Who thinks that it's a great idea? Let's go to court. No.
Yeah, nobody said nobody ever, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not a typical candidate. Then talk to us about organizations you've been involved with. You talked about the one the recovery center that you founded. Talk to me about other organizations that you've worked with or that you think are important.
I've worked with workforce development. I ran the Compton Work Source, and I also went to the JVS West Hollywood Work Source. I think in both of those communities, I work with marginalized communities, the LGBTQ plus community in West Hollywood, and mostly ethnic minorities. About 14,400 people came through our doors, and I was responsible for getting 200 jobs. I was the first one to actually meet the goal of any of the people that were the site manager or the manager of that site. And it was interesting because my executive director, whenever I went on the lobby floor, she would say, "Who is that? How do you know all these people?" Because every time I walked out, they'd say, "Hey, Ronda Dixon, da da da." And she said, "Who is that?" I said, "Oh, that's Taco. He's in charge of the ceasefire gang injunction." She said, "Well, how do you know all these people?" I said, "It's a long story, but basically, I grew up in the community. I remember I was involved in the rap and the music industry, and then I was involved with Dixon Recovery, where I helped a lot of people to recover. But that's when I saw a lot of disparities in the criminal justice system, and I saw that alternative sentencing works. This is where people are given the opportunity to get substance abuse or mental health treatment, and at the same time we help them get jobs and help them to really get housing and help them to put their lives together. And I really think that the shutdown of 200 clinics at once in the year of 2013 caused the blossoming of homelessness that really went out of control in 2015 and on.
Okay, really trying to squeeze in a lot of stuff in these last couple minutes here. What do you think about the bail schedule now, the new bail schedule for LA County?
New bail schedule.
Well, where they're
Give me a little bit more about that.
okay, where they're releasing more nonviolent offenders or people that judges deem not problematic to do so, so that they're not spending their pretrial days in custody.
Okay, that's not my experience. So let me just tell you what's really happening. There was an injunction that was placed. Someone placed a lawsuit, and that only deals with low-level misdemeanor offenses, and that is because they had to be forced, and that's one reason why I want to be a judge, because there are 20,000 people awaiting resentencing based on the laws that the California people voted on, okay? Those laws were put in place a couple of years ago, right at the beginning of Gascon's tenure, and that's why they don't like Gascon. They keep claiming that he's doing something, but people don't realize that they put the LA County District Attorneys Association, which is the union for the DAs, put an injunction on him 2 months after he came into play. So this whole thing that the press is saying about, oh, Gascon's letting all the prisoners out, never happened. And further, when I went up to Lancaster, 6 months elected, his picture was not on the wall in the DA's office.
Wow.
So they're being forced to let people out, and that's not necessarily happening. I'm still heavily doing bail review hearings, which are called Humphrey motions, and I have to appeal those when they don't follow the law, and I win those motions, but many times they don't let people out.
Okay.
This is actually, that bail thing that you're talking about actually works for the police. In other words, the police have a worksheet that they put together to decide what the bail is. And now they can't hold them before they see a judge.
All right. Well, maybe we'll dive into it another day when we can get you on the show on a topic. But for now, before we run out of time, tell us how to find out more about you, your website, your Instagram, all that stuff. Ronda Dixon.
Ronda, R-O-N-D-A, Dixon, D-I-X-O-N, the number 4, Judge, JUDGE.com is my website. Instagram is the same, at Ronda Dixon for Judge. I have a Facebook page, Ronda Dixon for Judge, and my phone number is 323-641-2731. Anybody that wants to help me out with donations or any volunteer work can contact me at my website.
All right. Well, we got 60 seconds left. Give me your elevator pitch. Why we should vote Ronda Dixon for Superior Court Judge Seat 39.
Because I believe in restorative justice. I will be fair, compassionate, and just. I will listen to people, and they will be heard. I will punish people to what they are, to fit the crime, but not put people in jail for life for low-level offenses. Also, there are on the civil bench, I will listen to people and be fair and just.
Well, Ronda Dixon, I really, really appreciate you checking in with us this morning, and good luck to you on your quest this election cycle.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dominique.
Ronda, no H, Ronda Dixon, the number 4, judge.com, Ronda Dixon for Judge KBLA.com. We've got another candidate and a special surprise. This jam-packed Talking Point Tuesday on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyaudio.media.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyaudio.media.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Try Venus for pubic hair and skin, the razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area, featuring a razor with patented irritation defense bar and skincare regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Discover the full regimen of products at GilletteVenus.com.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life.
Hewitt!
So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt!
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
We had some folks that wanted to respond and have things to say about Mark Carter out of Chicago. Certainly, it was an interesting conversation. So if you, now's the perfect time, 800-920-1580. We got some airspace for you here, KBLA delegation. And you can also hit me up on all the social media. It's KBLA 1580 everywhere, on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. We're broadcasting, we're streaming right now on YouTube. And please like, follow, and subscribe. I'm also there. DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. I know y'all like to call me Dupree and all kinds of other things. But if you're looking at, I don't mind, just call me. But if you're looking for me on socials, you're going to have to spell it right, DiPrima, and then radio. And I'm so excited that we were able to unveil for the first time in the whole world ever, history, here on First Things First with Dominique DiPrima, our first ever survey of Black LA County voters. It's something we're going to be doing on a regular basis. We are your election information station. That's why we just finished talking with one of your LA County Superior Court judicial candidates. The way we do it is we offer everyone running for any of the positions that we are covering, which is not everything on the ballot, but things that tend to impact our delegation. We offer them all the same, right? If, judicial candidates get the same amount of time, assembly candidates get the same amount of time, and so on. And then if they don't respond, you snooze, you lose, but we offer equal time to all. So if you haven't heard from somebody and you want to know more about them, keep it locked. We will have it coming up. Or you can go to the website, KBLA1580.com, and those Those interviews are there. We actually have a hub, the Election Information Station hub, where all of those are grouped according to office to make it really easy for you. You can go over to Senate, District 35, and whoever we've interviewed so far will be there. And you can hear what they have to say for yourself. And I think it's more important than ever for judges because we tend to know less. And that is the same place you will find that survey, that polling. If you want to write about it, talk about it, think about it, the groundbreaking results, that includes really kind of a deep dive on the LA County District Attorney's race, which I would argue is probably the most important race we have going. So because they are going to decide that what the voters called for, the progressive changes that we called for, that we organized for, either become codified and continue to progress, or they are overturned. And there's a bunch of folks that have been directly clashing with our current DA and trying to overturn those progressive reforms that voters asked for that are on that ballot. So you're going to want to really pay attention, and this polling information is very helpful. It's at KBLA1580.com. We also talk about public safety, Black people's attitudes about crime. This is done by Eviderus, which is very reputable, a Black-owned public opinion survey company. So you can check that out. As far as Mark Carter goes, I mean, I at a certain point I become... I want to know where people are coming from and what they say, what their mind frame is. But when somebody tells you that they don't like Democratic candidates because they're corrupt, and I know Chicago definitely has that reputation, but then they express their undying love for somebody who has 92 counts that he's facing, many of which are tied to various forms of corruption, including trying to steal an election and overthrow a whole government. There's only so much logic that you can apply in that kind of a case. I think this idea that if we automatically get rid of people of other ethnic groups, people coming from outside this country, that the United States would automatically grant justice, reparations, rights, and respect to Black people is a fantasy. It's an extreme version of what Paul Mooney used to call the illusion of inclusion, and I don't even know how to argue that. And more concerning than the mind frame of Mark Carter, who tells you what he's up to. He tells you he wants to turn Chicago red. He believes, and I understand that the motivation for that is, according to him, wanting more for Black people. On that, we agree. More opportunities, reparations, better jobs, more rights, our fair share of what we pay into this country in taxes, all that, I agree. But the means to get there by voting in a president who has repeatedly shown his contempt for Black people, Black Americans and Black people otherwise. And I'm not just talking about whether he personally likes you or not. I don't give a rat's behind about that. I'm talking about the policies and how they impact communities. That's what I'm talking about. Now, what I was saying is that I'm more concerned about Amin than Mark Carter. I don't think anything I can say or do is going to change that guy's perspective. He would need a visit from, the Ghost of Christmas Past or something like that to really, have a vision, just like he had when he came out of being incarcerated and decided to help other people who had been incarcerated, which was such a great way to start as an activist, but then was recruited. And this is what happens like with a lot of these Project 21 folks that I talk to. They get recruited by Republicans who embrace them as legitimate sounding voices that can put forth talking points that they want in our community. And so they give them a certain amount of support, or they give them that leg up, that, the Ben Carson treatment. And so I kind of, I think that's going to be harder to break through. But someone like Amin, who I've talked to many times on the radio, and is now saying that he thinks Black people are more likely to get reparations, that we're more likely to get a fair share, that we're more likely to get, and I understand the anger around the Biden administration's policies, foreign policy, the policy toward Gaza and all of that. I do understand that. But to transpose that over to justice for Black Americans, there's no evidence of it. There's no evidence. Okay, you can name the First Step Act, yeah, which was, by the way, started and put in motion by Democrats and brought across the finish line by Trump. And I do give him credit for that. That's one good thing he did. It wasn't his idea. He didn't start it, but he finished it. And that is something. People were released from unjustly long prison sentences. But if you look at the trajectory of Trump's legacy, it is anti-Black every step of the way. And it's anti-Black and anti-immigrant, even though he brought in immigrants, even though his father was an immigrant, even though his real name is Drumpf, D-R-U-M-P-F. Before they changed it to Trump, they Nikki Haley'd their name, they Nikki Haley'd their name to sound like America First. And so you can get caught up in the talking points and the shiny objects, or you can look at this man's track record and what he has actually done to and for Black Americans. He brought up the Central Park Five himself, the exonerated five himself, because that is a grave injustice that Donald Trump did to Black men that he has never apologized for. But it's not that. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you like Omarosa or Ben Carson. I'm talking about the policies. I'm talking about the defunding of Black neighborhoods, schools, programs. That's what I'm talking about. Under party favors for the rich and punishment for the working class of all races. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what concerns me. We'll be speaking with another LA County Superior Court judicial candidate when we come forward. And I'm so proud of us. Man, we are really watching these interviews on KBLA 1580.com and on YouTube. Let's keep at it. The election is right now. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in the Middle East to promote the framework of a hostage release deal. It comes as Israel's defense minister said yesterday the country is now focusing on the Gaza Strip's most southern city as it's Hamas's last stronghold in the region. The minister added that the leader of Hamas is now on the run and moving from hideout to hideout. In Illinois, the family of a Black man shot and killed by police in western suburban Carroll Stream are demanding to see body camera footage of the shooting. Bonnie Pigram, the mother of Isaac Goodlow III, mentioned at a news gathering yesterday that her son was gunned down by police like a dog. Family attorney Andrew Stroh filed a request with police to release all video and audio relating to the shooting. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations.
Got me a down girl on my team.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe we have the best tag team in morning radio. Dominique DiPrima and Tavis Smiley. As the first Black woman in Los Angeles to anchor a morning drive talk radio show, Dominique covers local politics like a blanket. Weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., Dominique passes the baton to Tavis Smiley, who talks to everybody about everything every day until 12 noon. KBLA's dynamic duo, Dominique and Tavis. It's no wonder the LA Civil Rights Department is honoring Dominique DiPrima this year at its Tell Our Story honoring Black journalist leaders and storytellers event, Thursday, February 8th. Or that the John M. Langston Bar Association of Los Angeles is honoring Tavis Smiley at its 47th Annual Installation and Scholarship Awards Gala with its Community Impact Award on February 10th. We couldn't be more proud of Dominique and Tavis, who make Black history every day, not just in February. If you're missing Dominique and Tavis weekday mornings on KBLA Talk 1580, you're missing out. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Holla, yeah.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's NBA teams ended long road trips with impressive wins last night. The Lakers got a strong triple-double from Anthony Davis to help finish a 4-2 trip. AD had 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 11 assists. LeBron also had 26 points and 7 assists. D'Angelo Russell led the Lakers with 28. The Lakers are home Thursday night against Denver. There's a ton of sparkling numbers for the Clippers. They held on for a 5-point win in Atlanta to cap a 6-1 Eastern road trip. 36 points for Kawhi Leonard, 30 points and 10 assists for James Harden. The Clippers shot 60% from three-point range. They are 19 games over 500 and just a half game behind Minnesota and Oklahoma City for the best record in the Western Conference. Since December 1st, the Clippers are 26-5. They're at home Wednesday night against New Orleans. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Listen up, City of Los Angeles renters that live in rent-controlled units. Landlords can now increase your rent by 4%. Know these 3 facts. The rent increase is allowed February 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2024. An extra 1% per utility up to 6% can be added if the landlord pays the entire gas and electric bill. And illegal rent increase complaints can be filed at housing.lacity.org. Check if you live in a rent-controlled unit and learn more at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
Got me a damn girl on my team.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe we have the best tag team in morning radio. Dominique DiPrima and Tavis Smiley. As the first black woman in Los Angeles to anchor a morning drive talk radio show, Dominique covers local politics like a blanket. Weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., Dominique passes the baton to Tavis Smiley, who talks to everybody about everything every day until 12 noon. KBLA's dynamic duo, Dominique and Tavis. It's no wonder the LA Civil Rights Department is honoring Dominique DiPrima this year at its Tell Our Story honoring Black journalist leaders and storytellers event, Thursday, February 8th. Or that the John M. Langston Bar Association of Los Angeles is honoring Tavis Smiley at its 47th Annual Installation and Scholarship Awards Gala with its Community Impact Award on February 10th. We couldn't be more proud of Dominique and Tavis, who make Black history every day, not just in February. If you're missing Dominique and Tavis weekday mornings on KBLA Talk 1580, you're missing out. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Holla, yeah.
As we go a little something like this.
Hey, it is me, D.L. Hughley, and I am thrilled to be heard weekdays in my hometown on KBLA Talk 1580. So check out the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a whole lot to talk about, let me tell you. That's on the real.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black.
Keep following the leader.
Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
And we have yet another candidate to be an LA County Superior Court judge. He is Born and raised in South Central Los Angeles in a home, he says, bought by his grandma. That was an all-white neighborhood at the time. And his story runs through Los Angeles. He says that he went to elementary school, middle school, and high school, all schools rated in the bottom 10 in California, and yet he was able to go through his hard work and with the help of mentors to USC for undergrad, UC Berkeley School of Law, and he has dedicated his career and his personal life, he says, to the service of others. Malik Burroughs, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for coming in. You said you work as an election monitor. You've represented tons of clients pro bono, including Marielito, Cubans who were seeking asylum, and Big Brothers, Big Sisters,
Yes.
Judge pro tem. What does that mean?
Well, so right now, currently, they have shut down courtrooms. Oh, they have shut down courtrooms. There's a shortage of judges. So they use this program to bring judges in, or temporary judges in, to service the traffic courts and to service other courts in the Los Angeles County. So I've been a temporary judge, or judge pro tem is what they call them, for about 4 or 5 years. So even actually in about 30 minutes, I'm going to be in Hill Street Courthouse presiding over arraignments and trials at Hill Street. So I've done that for like I said, about 5 years. And this is the interesting thing is this is where most people have their experience with the legal system.
Right.
And so we're kind of the people on the front lines. And so I've been doing this, like I said, for 5 years, and I've maybe 300 or 400 or 500 times. And the great thing about doing it is, I don't know if you've ever gotten a ticket before. You look like you maybe never gotten a ticket.
Yeah, I've gotten my share.
Right. Now, if you have, you know these fines can be ridiculous.
Yeah, they go up, up, up.
Up, up, up. A fine for non-insurance can be $1,000. Now, there's a lot of information or disinformation out there, but the last thing I read was most people in America, if there was an emergency in their household of over $500, they wouldn't be able to pay it.
Yeah.
So for these people and for us in our community, these kind of tickets can be life-changing. All of a sudden, your whole financial orbit, it will be thrown off by one of these tickets.
Yep.
And I feel good to be one of those people representing or being there, because some people is like, the fine's the fine. Sorry. And there's no thought about what the impact financially be on that person. It's like, it is what it is.
Right. $1 means one thing to one person and something else to somebody else.
100%. And so I'm like, no, I know, having been here, I mean, honestly, when I started as a public defender, and when I started, I didn't have a license. And when I started as a public defender.
Wow.
I didn't have a license.
Driver's license?
I didn't have a driver's license. Why? Because it was suspended. Why was it suspended? Because of tickets. So I'm a 30-year-old black man. As I'm driving to the public defender's office, I'm worried about whether there's a cop going to stop me and say, So I know firsthand, and I'm telling you all my business now. But when I was a law student, I did some time in jail. Why did I do some time in jail? Tickets. So I know firsthand.
Okay, so is it the pro
Just
tem?
can you be quiet now?
No. I mean, look, it's your time. You want our votes. We want to get to know you, Malik Burroughs, for seat 48. Is it the judge pro tem gig that made you want to be a full-time judge?
Yes. Yeah. I specifically did it to be because I felt there were limitations in being a DA, limitations in being a public defender. How can I do the best work with the public defender's office? Now, I was a public defender when it was the 3 strikes law. Now, that was the toughest time of all to be a public defender because no one cared. If you stole a pizza, you could be in jail for 25 to 30 years.
Yeah.
And that was way too onerous for me. I'm like, I can't do the best good here. So I felt that being a judge, that's one of the, like I said, one, it's the way that most of us come in contact with the system. And 2, I think it's the best way for us to, the community has to, just as you have community policing, the community should be judging itself as well. And not some person who is totally devoid by their experience from our experience. I think that's a big deal.
Give us your 1 minute pitch here. Why should we vote for Malik Burroughs for judge?
Because what I just said. Because we should not only be policing ourselves, but we should be judging ourselves. When you have people outside of our communities, LA is now over a majority it's people of color. Shouldn't the judges reflect that? And when you have people who don't reflect our experiences, they're not going to be the proper arbiters or what really is, because justice in a lot of ways is subjective. And so you want people who are in our experiences and know our experiences to be able to judge our experiences. And that means, sometimes bringing down the hammer when it's supposed to be. Because I grew up in a generation where you had switches and you had, if you did something wrong, you got beat.
Home corporal punishment.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't believe in it, but my mom did.
Yeah. Now, you can discuss good or bad, but I know when I got my ass whooped, but I won't say that. When I got my butt whooped, I wasn't going to do that again. And so there's times when you need that kind of punishment. And then there's times where there's time when Junebug gives you the car and, Junebug ain't got no car. So something's wrong going on. And then there's times when it's like, okay, I know you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. So those are the situations that only we know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how do you feel about these changes? I know it's being a judge is meant to be nonpartisan. You don't say I'm a Democrat or a Republican,
right.
But how do you feel about some of the changes that the voters have called for, in which we're starting to see this, restorative justice models, the Care First models, a new bail schedule, that movement, I guess you could say.
Well, I'm a fan of it on one hand, but then also I believe in balance. That's like we're just talking about. We need to people who can discern and judge when those things are proper, and when it's really very nuanced and about when these things are proper, when it's the right time for these things. Because restorative justice I think in principle is great. And then it's, also about rehabilitation. There is just no rehabilitative aspect that we have. So we need to do that a lot. And then there has to be some sort of punishment for some people. Some people really shouldn't be on the streets if they're going to keep the behavior that they keep going on. And in my family, I see this all the time. We see people like, oh, you have chosen crime as your vocation. Until you choose another vocation, we can't help you. So those kind of things, and job training, educational training, all these things need to be factored in. And it's really like the one words and the two words things, they're fine, but we really need to get into the weeds of, who needs this? What kind of care does the victim in these situations need, and the perpetrator, and how we get to that place we're in a whole society.
And what do you think? I mean, certainly your experience, you've worked with all kinds of folks as a defense attorney, and in your pro bono work, I would imagine as well.
Yes.
What lessons do you bring from that to the bench?
I think being the bench part of it is the intellectual part, and the law is the law. That's the intellectual part. And then the other part of it is you have to be a study of humanity. You have to know people, and that's everything in our judicial system, along with our lives. Even like we go to the doctor, everything's cookie cutter, and so I think what we need to bring to all of these situations is an intellectual nuance. And I think that's what I try and bring to it. It's like knowing what situations, I think you got that antenna out, the spidey sense that says, oh, this person deserves this, or this person's going down that road, or this person's going down that road. And, but this person's going down another road. So it's really very nuanced in terms of, what punishment or what educational things meet the particular situation.
Well, Malik Burroughs, it's really, really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Tell us how to track you, find out more about you.
Good question. I have a Facebook page now. I hate Facebook, but I'm on Facebook.
Is it Malik Burroughs?
Yes.
Just your name?
And then my website, malikburroughsforjudge.com.
Is it the number 4 or FOR?
It's FOR. I should have done the number 4 now. Maybe I can change that.
No, well,
I never thought about that.
Election is upon us.
Yeah,
so
it's too late. Maybe the next time.
Malik Burroughs for judge. Well, if you win, there won't be a next time.
Yeah, well, then Malik Burroughs for president.
Malik
And I'll
Burroughs,
do the 4 when I
four.
run for president.
It's FOR now, though.
Yes.
Malik,
FOR, yes.
Malik Burroughs for judge.com. You're on Facebook under Malik Burroughs. Instagram?
Presumably Instagram. I have someone running my whole thing. And
Okay.
so, because I hate, despise social media. So I just try and, stay away from it. But now they're like, you have to do this. So I have a friend. Hey, can you do this for me? And so she's supposedly doing it for me.
Awesome. So,
yeah.
But for those in the back, Malik Burroughs, FORjudge.com.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming in. It's a pleasure to meet you, and good luck on your quest to be on the bench.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Got a special guest for you next. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's important. It's
Apparently,
KBLA.
I'm not special.
No, you're very special. KBLA, I just met you, but KBLA Talk 1580. We're all special.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the exclusive media sponsor of this light of ours, activist photographers of the Civil Rights Movement. A dynamic new exhibition on view now at the Skirball Cultural Center in Los Angeles. This light of ours showcases more than 150 photos taken by movement insiders from diverse backgrounds that reveal the vital work undertaken by a broad coalition of organizers and everyday people whose collective action changed America. This light of ours is one of 3 temporary exhibitions currently on view at the Skirball, which together explore issues related to civil rights, immigration, and pluralism. Tickets and more information for all 3 exhibitions are available at skirball.org. That's skirball.org. SKIRBALL.org.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And I'm so pleased right now to have a quick check-in from the 43rd Mayor of the City of Los Angeles, the Honorable Mayor Karen Bass. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique.
I know you're really busy. You just disaster after disaster, but this rain, even though we've been hearing about it, it hit harder than a lot of us were expecting, I guess.
That's correct. I mean, it's hard to believe, but the meteorologists are telling us that this is the heaviest rain that we've had since 1877. Can you believe that?
Wow. Yeah. Actually, I kind of do. My roof is leaking. A lot of my friends' roofs are leaking, but I feel like I got off easy. They're even within, the Black Beverly Hills or the Baldwin Hills area, Baldwin Vista, there's a lot of mudslides and stuff happening, right?
Oh, my goodness. I went both to Baldwin Hills and Baldwin Vista yesterday, and it is devastating. I mean, one was a homeowner who essentially the hillside came in through her bedroom. She was very lucky, frankly, that she wasn't injured. And the other was where the hillside came into a home. They were both renters, and that's an entirely different situation.
Wow.
If you're renting, then you have to depend on your landlord to take care of you during the time that the damage is there in the emergency time.
Yeah, I have a friend that's up there on Baldwin Vista. The hill is in her house too. What should we expect? I know you've declared a state of emergency. What resources does that avail us of, and what should we do when we get in these kind of situations?
Well, I'll tell you that declaring the state of emergency really applies more to city resources as opposed to the city being able to allocate resources to Angelenos. But, I was actually in the middle of a press conference yesterday, and the president called, and he asked, what is it that you need? And so I'm going to make a list and be calling back to the White House later on today. For example, I talked to homeowners in Baldwin Vista who said that they were told they didn't qualify for FEMA. So I mentioned it to the president that we were going to need help with FEMA. The damage that can be done to homes can be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And who has that? And then the other problem is that homeowners were telling me and renters were telling me that the insurance was not going to cover a hillside.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a different thing for us. We're used to earthquakes. We're used to fires.
Right.
But this torrential rain, I know that I can see with my own eyes that our drainage, the work they've done on the drainage is helping. Not as many streets are flooded as last time. But, I guess we still have a lot of work to do, right?
Oh, we absolutely do. And let me just say to your listeners, it looks a little lighter right now, but don't be fooled by that. We really do need to stay in for another day. We are expecting it to be light now, but heavier later, and you don't want to be caught up in a flash flood or a terrific downpour.
Right. So the advice then is to still remain home if possible.
Right. Right. Exactly. Remain home, work remotely, etc.
And is there anything else that we should be doing or accessing as Angelenos right now? I mean, I know hopefully we all have our earthquake grab and go kits and stuff like that, but it feels unfamiliar.
Right, it absolutely does. Just like it was unfamiliar to have rain in the summer. I really think we need to get our head around climate change is knocking at our door. I mean, we now have to assume that we are not immune from some of the weather that we see happening on the East Coast. I mean, we were warned there could be tornadoes. I mean, fortunately, there were not. But I think that we are entering a new phase of climate change and the impact of it.
Yeah, so the climate emergency, I'm not quite sure how you budget for that or plan for that. But what would you tell Angelenos, as you're managing this, as the leader of our city, but as individuals and leaders in our families and neighborhoods, what ought we be doing to be more prepared for this? Really seems like a new era of the climate emergency that we're in now.
Exactly. Well, as you mentioned, having your emergency packets ready and not just think about it in terms of an earthquake, but you want to make sure you have water, you want to make sure you have batteries, you want to make sure all of your electronics are charged up. And we have definitely had some outages, but not at what we were expecting.
Right.
And then also look after your neighbors. Look after your neighbors, especially if you have neighbors that are elderly or are ill.
Yeah. And as far as, street closures and all of the impacts, structural impacts, not of people's personal private property, but of the public ways, the commons. Where are we now?
Well, actually, I'm going to be receiving a report about that right now, and I can get back with you with that information. I have not heard of any major closures like freeways or major commercial areas, but if that is not the case, I will get back to you. I'm on my way to the emergency center right now to receive those reports.
And I would encourage everyone to do what I did, Mayor Karen Bass, and sign up for the city emergency notifications, because believe it or not, those things are pretty good.
Exactly. Notify LA. Please sign up.
You go to Notify LA, I think it's .org. NotifyLA.org.
Yes,
there's also an app at the App Store, and get it on your phone. Mayor Karen Bass, thank you so much for checking in with us at KBLA Talk 1580. Anything you want to leave us with this morning?
Just stay safe and please stay informed. Stay informed. We will keep you posted as we get through this emergency.
All right, and thank you for always, tapping in with our community, not just KBLA, but going up there to Baldwin Vista and Baldwin Hills and seeing what's really happening on the ground. It means a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much. Take care, Dominique.
All right, and you as well. Just a quick check-in with Mayor Karen Bass. As we are in the middle of an emergency, that's where I started this day. I know it is fashionable to make fun of us Angelinos who can't deal with the rain. Well, I'm from the Bay, and I grew up with the rain, but not rain like this. This is, it's deceptive, right? A hillside can slide down in a heartbeat. Your car can get submerged in water in minutes. So I think it's a warning well heeded that we have another day of minimizing travel as much as possible. If you're on the West Coast, if you're here in LA, I'm hearing the same thing from my siblings down in the Bay Area. Up in the Bay Area, that it is, it's an emergency, whether you think it is or not. Just be careful and be safe out there. And remember, we have 211 and 311 you can call if you need some help and you don't know what resource, where to turn for that. And as the mayor pointed out, if you're a homeowner here who's seen some substantial damage, you may want to really start looking toward FEMA. As she said, she'll be talking with the president and making sure that we are included in the federal emergency management for this particular emergency that we're experiencing in the state of California and especially here in the city of Los Angeles. Tavis Smiley is up next. He's got a jam-packed show for you as usual. I'm Dominique DiPrima. I will keep talking to you on social media, and I will be back at you tomorrow. History is now, and we are making it together. Until next time, be safe, stay dry. One love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in the Middle East to promote the framework of a hostage release deal. It comes as Israel's defense minister said yesterday the country is now focusing on the Gaza Strip's most southern city as it's Hamas's last stronghold in the region. The minister added that the leader of Hamas is now on the run and moving from hideout to hideout.